Imagine someone gives you a gold coin. It's shiny and heavy and comes with a promise that in 2 years it will be worth not just $1,000, but 10,000. The person offering it is brilliant, charming, and well-educated, a successful businesswoman with a PhD from Oxford. They tell you that this is not just money, but a revolution. They call it the Bitcoin killer. Now imagine that you empty your retirement account. You convince your parents, neighbors, and friends to do the same. You gather $4 billion from millions of ordinary people across 175 countries based solely on this promise. Then one morning, the brilliant businesswoman, the self-proclaimed crypto queen, simply disappears, vanishes into thin air. This is not fiction. This is the true story of Dr. Ruja Ignatova and OneCoin, a so-called cryptocurrency that had no blockchain, no technology, and no real existence. It was the greatest Ponzi scheme in history, dressed up in the deceptive, shiny clothes of the digital age. Our story does not begin in a murky corner of the internet, but under the blinding lights of massive corporate arenas. The stage was always set up to look like a tech conference, complete with pyrotechnics, loud music, and a charismatic speaker. That speaker was Dr. Ruja Ignatova. Ruja was mesmerizing. She wore haute couture and expensive jewelry, and spoke with absolute, unwavering confidence. She carried herself like a rock star and looked like royalty. She told audiences across Europe, Asia, and Africa that OneCoin was better, safer, and faster than Bitcoin. In 2 years, nobody will talk about Bitcoin anymore, she told them. If you bought a package worth $1,000, you received tokens that you could mine for OneCoin. You earned a commission if you convinced your neighbor to buy a package. If your neighbor then convinced their friends to buy packages, you earned a percentage of that too. This structure fostered an intense belief system. The sellers were convinced that they weren't selling a lie, but rather a golden future. They were incentivized to recruit constantly, fueling the pyramid with fresh, enthusiastic cash. The scheme preyed on the desperation of the financially vulnerable, such as retirees, small business owners, and working-class people, who felt they had missed out on the Bitcoin boom and were eager for a second chance at wealth. It wasn't just about money. It was about belonging to an elite group, a movement that was going to democratize finance. Ruja made them feel special. While she was on stage in London and Bangkok, wearing gowns and delivering messianic speeches, OneCoin had no technical reality. In a real cryptocurrency such as Bitcoin, every transaction is recorded on a public, decentralized ledger called a blockchain. It is this that gives cryptocurrency its value and integrity. OneCoin had no such thing. Investigators later discovered that OneCoin's blockchain was merely a SQL database on a private server. Ruja's technical staff testified that they had been instructed to run a script to increase the coin supply whenever new funds came in. Each time a coin was purchased, a number was simply updated in a centralized spreadsheet. The price was not set by supply and demand. It was set by the company itself. The pressure on the victims was immense. They were told that they couldn't yet convert their OneCoin into euros or dollars. They had to wait for the initial public exchange launch, the moment the coin would truly hit the global market and make everyone rich. This promise kept the pyramid scheme running for years, giving Ruja time to build the facade. The company continually pushed back the exchange date, each time citing technical or regulatory issues and demanding more patience and more investment. This strategy enabled the core leadership to siphon billions out of the system. By 2017, cracks had appeared in the facade. Journalists were asking tough questions. Regulators in Germany, the UK, and India were issuing warnings. The company's massive cash flows were coming under increasing international scrutiny. The FBI and German authorities were preparing indictments. In October 2017, Ruja Ignatova was due to deliver a keynote speech at a major OneCoin event in Lisbon. This was meant to be a crucial moment for the company, intended to reassure increasingly panicked investors. She didn't show up. Instead, she took a flight from Sofia, Bulgaria to Athens, Greece, and vanished. Like Jan Marsalek from Wirecard, she slipped through the net by using her vast network of connections and illicit funds. She left behind a massive fortune, mansions, yachts, and hundreds of millions in bank accounts, but her whereabouts remain unknown to this day. She is on the FBI's 10 most wanted list, with a multi-million-dollar reward for information leading to her capture. The company's remaining leaders tried to maintain the pretense, but without her, the pyramid quickly collapsed. Millions of people, including families who had lost their entire life savings, were left staring at a computer screen displaying a worthless number. The cryptocurrency they held was nothing more than an entry in a private spreadsheet. The money, the billions, was gone, filtered through international bank accounts and laundered by professional criminals. The collapse wasn't just financial, it was also relational. Families were torn apart when one member, who had recruited the others, realized they were responsible for their loved ones' ruin. The emotional fallout stretched from Germany to Uganda and from the US to China. The story of OneCoin is the ultimate warning about what happens when greed meets the latest technology. It demonstrates that even the most educated and privileged among us can create a Ponzi scheme if they cloak it in complex state-of-the-art jargon that the average person is reluctant to admit they don't understand. Ruja exploited the fear of missing out on the crypto boom to orchestrate a symphony of financial destruction. Dr. Ruja Ignatova sold more than just a fake cryptocurrency. She sold a lie about the future. She sold hope to those who needed it most, and when the money was gone, she simply disappeared. Perhaps she is spending the $4 billion she stole on a superyacht in the Mediterranean or in a shielded mansion, while the people she betrayed are left with nothing but empty bank accounts and a painful lesson about trusting promises that sound too good to be true.